Okay, so there I am in the airport in Bangkok. That's Suvarnabhumi Airport. I just cleared through the immigration and I'm going to board my flight. What flight was that? Eva Air, yeah. Eva Air. I was going to board Eva Air. And I was stopped in Taiwan, Taipei. And then after that, wait a few hours and catch another plane from there to JFK in New York. So what I'm doing in this video is walking through the airport. I can talk instead of just playing some music. I have like maybe two other videos to go. That's the VAT sign right there. Some years ago, there was an airport series at this same airport in Bangkok, Thailand, Suvarnabhumi Airport. And I remember one of the guys in there, he said that he loves his job, and what is his job? His job is he works giving people money back. People who paid, who bought certain items. And like when you go shopping in the store, they charge you a VAT. And then, it's supposed to be for the citizens or residents. So when you leave in the airport, you can go to the counter and make a claim, and then they pay you back how much money you spend. I never really did it before, but I observed the line, and the line was long. So we're passing by the perfumes and cosmetics. I don't know if I mentioned the date, but the date was Sunday, January the 7th. And I arrived there in time, just to make sure I catch my flight. So I had enough time. Yeah, it was a Sunday. I took a taxi. I took a Grab taxi to the airport. There wasn't much traffic in the highway at all leading up to the airport, so I arrived there fairly quick. In about half hour time I was there. So all these stores here, you see Swatch, all these that sell duty free, when you buy. However, when you go to your own country, you're supposed to declare, and then they might assess a duty. I think while I was out there, I saw in the news that Arnold Schwarzenegger, he went to Germany, and some watch he had, I don't think it was for him. I think he was giving away the watch, but he's supposed to declare it. Apparently he didn't declare it or something like that. And he had to pay like a few $1,000s. So yeah, that was in the news. So I don't know how that happened, but while I was out there, I know Schwarzenegger was in the news for failure to declare. And you gotta ask yourself, how do they know you're carrying something like that, right? Unless you tell them, I guess, or they search you. So when you work in a place like this, like that lady there, I guess you gotta put on makeup, you gotta look presentable, you know. It's not easy. And you probably got to be young too. You don't see too many old people working in there, in those places. A certain age, after a certain age, that's it. Because you're standing on your feet for hours. So there's some suitcase there, Mont Blanc. That's the name. I love it, Mont Blanc. White mountain in French. Omega across the way. Montclair. The people who own these types of stores, they become very rich. They make a lot of money. This one is Celine. And there are people who like to shop, you know, they see things and they must buy. Not that they need it, but it's just, that's the way they are. It's a kind of sickness, psychological. So when you're in the airport, a place like this, you're trapped. It's easy to get people to spend money. And this is Chanel. Chanel, the perfumes. Yep, Chanel. Those perfumes are expensive. There's a place in New York around 28th Street. I believe it's off 5th or 6th. I believe it's off like the R train. And it's like a district where they sell perfumes and so forth. And you don't have to pay tax in it. It's like a certain zone, like. I've been there in the past. So instead of going into the store and you pay the tax, you go in that area. It's like wholesale. You got all kinds of perfumes. So if you're ever in New York, you check out the perfume area. You don't have to go in and to like Macy's and these other stores selling all this. Macy's have a lot of expensive perfumes. Estee Lauder. Remember when people used to be all dressed up years ago when you travel? Look at that guy there. He looks like he just woke up. Yeah, one time, you know, when you're traveling and you get in an airplane, people used to like put on their Sunday best. You know, it's like you put on something close to your pajamas. more Chanel. One thing about this airport, you're in the same terminal, and you could do all different gates. It's a long terminal, so you could stay in there. Contrast that with with JFK in New York. You have to go to different terminals. That gets kind of confusing, and you have to really know what you're doing. So, for example, Terminal 4, it's the one that's usually open 24 hours. Yeah, 24 hours. And you have Terminal 1. When I went to the Philippines the last time, my flight was after midnight, but it ended up leaving after 2 in the morning, because the same plane that came in, they had to clean that plane. They had to restock it with food and water, with different things like that. So all that took a while. So we left maybe after 2 in the morning. So that's Terminal 1. And you have Japan Airlines travel from that terminal also. Korean Airlines travel from there. I think Turkish Airlines, a few other airlines travel from Terminal 1. And then you have British Airways. British Airways is Terminal 7. American Airlines Terminal 8. JetBlue, I believe, comes in at Terminal 5. I believe I saw Hawaii Airline too, JFK. So JFK is very, very huge. This here is a great piece of artwork. Looks like a two-headed dragon there that those characters are wrestling with. You see the two heads on the left-hand side and the body of the dragon holding in their hands. At least there's no fire coming out. Speaking of dragon, the Lunar New Year is the year of the dragon. For the Chinese, they say the year of the dragon. So we always used to say the Chinese New Year, but I saw a Chinese lady on TV the other day, and she said, it's best to say the Lunar New Year, because She said that a number of countries in Asia, they celebrate the same New Year. Like Vietnam, for example, they celebrate the Lunar New Year. I think Cambodia does. Not sure about Laos. So, Hong Kong also celebrates the Lunar New Year. So, instead of calling it the Chinese New Year, it's the Lunar New Year. But for years, because of what happened, most people are familiar with the Chinese here, you know. Then like all these other different Asian groups. You have Chinatown, and in Chinatown, you can find like Vietnamese restaurant, maybe Cambodian restaurant, Lao food, Thai food. In Chinatown itself, you can find those. So the Chinese kind of encompass everything. You see, that would be Asian. Only thing I don't remember seeing a Japanese restaurant in Chinatown. But we do have Japanese restaurants, but they're in certain areas, like in Manhattan, for example, maybe Queens. So what I'm doing here, I'm walking toward the domestic part of the airport, and then later on in one of my other videos, maybe the second or third video, I'll be walking toward the international end. So I'll see you in the next video.